I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I had to deal with that to be the woman that I am, to go forward and say, if I can sit here in this chair and I did 10 hours of dialysis 7 days a week for 9 years and put on lipstick on set, on the talent, you can face anything in your life. Medical, family, whatever it is, it can be done.
Welcome to Set Life, where we tell stories from our industry. I'm Kelly Leger, and this is Amber Buteau. Hi, welcome to another episode of Set Life, coming from For the One Studio, Studio One. My name is Kelly Leger.
And I'm Amber Buteau.
And we have a guest with us today. This is Maddie of Matilda Marie Makeup.
Yes.
And we are so glad to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
It's amazing.
We are so glad you could sit through all of our fun times here.
Of course.
Think to get started on these things, like, we make it look like this was just, so effortlessly, but we practice these things like.
Oh, yeah. And laugh for about 12 minutes before we start to get all the giggles out. Then it doesn't work. And then here we are. But we're having fun.
Yes. So thank you for being with us.
Sure.
Sitting on set with us, and we can't wait to hear your story and what all you've done in this industry and the makeup you've done and what inspired you in the makeup and where it started and where you are. So
and the story.
The story's so good.
I just know there's a good story over there.
It's a story. It's an amazing one.
So, okay, where did the love of makeup come from?
The love of makeup came from, I'm an avid television watcher. And so growing up, I watched a lot of television with my grandmother. And Sundays were our favorite time because it was after church. We had the big family over. And so Cleopatra was playing and Elizabeth Taylor was the actress.
Let's go.
And I saw that black eyeliner winged to the heavens and it was coal black. And I remember I have to figure out how that's done. And ever since then, I've had the bug.
Okay, and how old were you?
I could have been about 8.
Wow.
Because that movie.
Cleopatra did it. Elizabeth Taylor.
Elizabeth Taylor. The original influencer.
Oh, I'm telling you. Oh, there's no doubt.
For sure.
Yes.
So
what a person to be inspired by. Like when I look back, like, and I mean, I was a young boy. I wasn't thinking about all the makeup personally,
Right.
But Elizabeth Taylor, that's one of the things you think about is all the drip and all the stuff. So, I mean, my goodness. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I love that you were 8. Again, we said this on another conversation we were having with someone. At 8 years old, you saw that and thought, I got to know how to do that. Like, that is so inspiring to me to know that, like, our youth today are having the same inspirations dropped in their heart and how we can help foster them to set them onto careers like we're about to, go on the journey of knowing yours. But at 8 years old, sitting with your grandmother, normal life, watching a movie, and are like, what is that? And how do you do that? That inspiration, the root, that's the coolest part, I think, of telling these stories of where it was birthed in you, where there was a question, where there was a hunger and a desire to want to know more about something you've just seen, and I just think that's so great. So, okay, so what did you do with that? I mean, were you like, I got to know how to do this, and then what?
I just started playing in her makeup. And she would get ready for church and she would pull out her rouge and she would use her lipstick on her cheeks. And I just watched her.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I still watch her now as an adult put on her makeup. And so it's just stuck with me the entire time.
Oh, goodness.
Love grandmothers. I just have to give a shout out to
Yes.
grandmas.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandmother and I were super close. And then the grandmother on my dad's side, when it comes to makeup, I'll never forget. She was always dressed to the nines all the time. She had a hat on. She did all her makeup. She got dressed all the time. And one day I had stayed with her and I was in her bathroom, probably about 8, 9 years old. And I was in there watching her and she was putting on her fake eyelashes. And I was like, what is that? What is that?
Inspiration.
And she was like,
Yes.
honey, don't you ever leave without your lipstick and your eyes on. And I was like, oh, note to self.
My mom would say, I don't leave the house without putting my face on.
Yeah, right.
That's for sure.
Yeah, right.
And that's the same thing. She would tell me, don't leave the house without earrings and your lipstick. And so when I leave the house, no matter what I'm wearing, earrings and lipstick is a must. And it just makes you feel better.
Yes.
Whatever you're going through, thinking about, however the day is going, lipstick is a powerful tool that we can use to brighten our day.
I agree. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Okay, so you started playing in makeup, dabbling in makeup, but then where did you take that love and that passion to turn it into, like, did you know you could do this as a career? Did you know it was a career? Did you know that it was something that you could eventually do?
I did, because in high school, when I was in high school, I'm not going to say when.
That's all right.
But in high school, we had a curriculum for cosmetology. And so I would ask the teacher about makeup and what course was that. And she said, well, you can learn it in cosmetology because it covers a range of subjects, hair, nails, skin. And I said, I just want to do makeup. She said, well, you need to be an esthetician. And so I'm an esthetician. And so that's where I learned how to do makeup, skincare. So my foundation is an esthetician.
Is that like, and I guess I never have thought about that. I mean, we worked on hundreds of sets. Is that normal for someone in hair and makeup to have that kind of background?
When I was coming through for a professional work, it was mandatory. You needed a license, just like you need a license to do hair. Now, in the last couple of years, the state of Texas has mandated that you don't need a license to do makeup, but then you have to be self-taught, and which is great. But more of times, the esthetician gives you a foundation of how to work on skin.
Absolutely.
The structure, the shape, and that is what the difference is.
Which I think is interesting. I'm sure you deal with this a lot, Kelly, when you're applying your makeup.
Since a little sarcasm in there.
Is when I've sat with makeup artists, they'll always say, make sure you moisturize really well before applying. Like, so if you're coming to a shoot and you're the talent, the makeup artist is always like, okay, night before, make sure you moisturize really well. In the morning of, make sure you moisturize really well before they ever even are applying the makeup or even touching your face. And the same with some talent that we've had to come through here. They hire an esthetician and a makeup artist. So one preps the skin and all of that, and then the other one applies the makeup.
Unless you have Maddie, and she can do all
Unless you have Maddie that does it all.
Because my instructions are, come to the set with a clean face. No SPF, no moisturizer, just wash your face. And sometimes people come with a little makeup, a little eyeliner, a little blush, and I take it off because I want to be able to prep your skin, look at your skin, and see what's going on.
Yeah. So that is so beneficial for her to be an esthetician and a makeup artist because she's able to do that because of her expertise. But I would say other makeup artists that don't have that background don't have that ability to add that layer on to the makeup that they say is so important.
Sure. You know, and so in my career as a director, I haven't shot like I guess my genre per se in commercial and so forth. I hadn't shot a lot of beauty products and things like that. So it's not that I was ever working with the kind of any glammed up looks. Most of the time it's real people and scenarios and houses. It's a family, it's actors, doing their thing. So I guess the way that I had always compliment to my makeup artist was I didn't see it. Like it did what it needed to do. It took shine off. It did all of the, but I didn't know. And so, but it didn't mean I didn't appreciate it. I appreciated it that much more because nothing distracted me. Nothing was off. It was well done. In that scenario.
And what's great about that look that you didn't see it, that's the hardest to do.
That's the hardest to do.
That's the hardest to do.
I believe that.
To walk in a room or see talent and they are clean face, because it's a term that we use, that makeup is the hardest to do. Because
That's what you call a clean face. Wow.
clean face.
Yeah.
The glam is the easy part.
Right.
I can put all of the eyeliner, all of the lashes, all of the shimmer and everything on you, and you can look like Barbie. But to strip it down and you still look like yourself, that's where the expertise comes in.
You know, I think that if I had a cinematographer sitting here right now, and we were having this conversation, it would sound the same because they would. I made the mistake one time of like describing what I wanted on a set to a cinematographer. I'm like, I don't need much lighting. I need it to look natural. And the guy looked at me like, you think all those natural looks happen naturally?
Yeah.
It's like, no, he just, the lighting came in, but it's the same thing to make it look that way. That's
right.
That's an art. You don't understand. People don't get that, how necessary that is.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I want to hear this journey. Okay. I want to hear, how you are a woman who has overcome some things. You have fought your way to be where you are. I think we think sometimes it's a luck of the draw. We think somebody's just lucky and they're doing all this. And no luck, You don't luckily
find a diamond.
You don't luckily find a diamond. You didn't get
I like that.
Yeah. There was a lot of work and preparation and pressure and refining to get to success.
Yes.
To get to something of excellence in an industry or career or whatever in life. So your story is definitely one of those stories.
Thank you.
Walk us through kind of how, now you found the love, you've started dabbling, you've become an esthetician, but where did your career, at the same time, I would like to know, there were some personal things paralleling in your life with the career. Tell us about that a little bit.
What was so parallel to my journey is 2 weeks before I was about to finish my esthetician curriculum, I went into renal failure. I literally had 14 hours to do, I think. So, and I had 2 weeks left of school. And I went into renal failure, and I wasn't able to finish those hours until once I got stable and was able enough to kind of move around. And I was on dialysis finishing out those last 14 hours part-time, but I was determined to finish.
I love it.
And I finished, and I knew that was the catalyst for me to continue because I had a goal in mind. I'm stubborn.
Amen. And I like it.
And I tell people all the time that I use my stubborn for good.
Yes.
Good.
Because I refuse to just walk away. If I have a goal in mind, I can't get off of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold on it I don't care how long it takes.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold on to it.
That's good. That's such a great trait to have for the good. They say all the time, like every strength taken to an extreme becomes your weakness.
Yes.
So the fact that you've understood that it's a strength of yours when it's in balance in your life, when you can choose to use that for good is amazing. So your persistence in finishing got you to finish. Then what was it? The perseverance after that, because it wasn't like your health just magically turned around and life became great. You started the journey.
I did. And the journey was to get the transplant, get a kidney transplant, and which I did. 2 years after I ran into renal failure, I did get a transplant. But the transplant, it was giving me more problems than I perceived and that the doctors did. And they tell you that they're risk, of course. And just so happened, the risk was risking. And I was still studying makeup, reading, taking professional makeup classes, and I was in a terrible car accident. And the car accident, the seatbelt, with my kidney already in trouble, pulled me back into the seat, and I lost the kidney. So I'm back on dialysis, and I was on dialysis for 9 years.
Wow.
And I just received my second kidney a year and 2 months ago.
Yay.
And so, but all that time on dialysis, I was on set, showing up 3 a.m. And I was doing dialysis 7 days a week because I did it myself because I needed my day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Most people go to dialysis 3 times a week. It wipes you out for the day. you can't really do anything. But I knew that if I did it myself, I can control the narrative.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have much of a hangout life because at night I was at home taking care of my body. But during the day, I was on set. I was in someone's class.
Yes.
I was making sure I had a target.
Yep.
And although I've reached that target over and over, but I want to get better and greater.
Yeah.
So it's just up from here.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the middle of all that, you were in the middle of building a career.
Yes.
And we're not talking like, indie or side hustle. We're on Hulu and Peacock and, major networks that you're on set doing their makeup. And, from people who know and people that don't know, most people are in this industry that watch this, but, set is not your 8 to 5. We're looking to hire. And people are like, what's the hours? And I'm like, yeah, you maybe don't want this job.
Wrong first question.
You're asking hours.
I can tell you when we're going to start.
Right.
You may
There are no hours, okay? There's no hours.
Oh, my
Yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news on production, buddy.
Right. There's a call sheet.
So,
That's general.
that is yeah. And so the hours are long, the days are long, and you're with great, loving, passionate people with all of it. And then there's days that you don't have any hours because you're not working, so it's a give and take. So to have something in your life that, the adversity in your health, and then being able to stay focused with the ebb and flow of this industry is really inspiring and speaks to your dedication.
You probably weren't going to just some nice warm studio every day either. I bet you're all over the place. You're in every kind of condition, in the middle, conditioned at home, conditioned on the set, conditioned, I'm right?
You're right, because set life, can I just say, it's not glamorous.
Amen. Yeah.
We look glamorous when we're together, when
yeah.
we're hanging out.
Yeah.
After the project's done at the wrap party, we're glamorous.
Right.
But on set, it's not glamorous. It's
work.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
I worked on a set, the Hulu show you mentioned, and it was on a farm, 3 a.m. in Houston. 40-degree weather. I read the call sheet. They had the weather listed and the farm. I said, I may need to bring more boots. Boy, was I right. I had 3 pair of boots. They were all muddy. I was doing makeup on the back of a pickup truck where we were serving the coffee.
Oh my gosh.
Project is great.
Yeah.
Your attention, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the behind the scenes, it was gruesome.
Yeah.
And in Houston, we don't buy coats.
Yeah.
I had on like 3 coats,
We
2
shut
hats.
everything down.
That's what we do.
It's too
That's what
cold.
we
Right.
now when it's going on here.
And call time was 4 a.m. On the outskirts of Houston. And I'll never forget that. And I knew at that moment, I was like, people have the wrong idea about this job.
Yeah. I call it the Disney effect.
Yes.
So the Disney effect is you walk into the park and it's magical, it's beautiful, it's amazing, but you don't go behind. If you go behind to make that magic, that's what they always say, what's behind the magic, it's the same on everything we create. It's the people doing the work. It's so why I love this show so much to interview and sit with the people who make that magic happen, to make it look like it's effortless, like it is natural lighting, like the makeup's just natural and we just walk around looking like this. We don't, from the camera angle, just all of it.
All of it.
Everybody that's making it work and then the hours that they're putting in to do it and the conditions in which they're doing it in to make it look like, your hand's not shaking and it's freezing cold outside and they're having to shoot this, or you're trying to put on makeup and draw a perfect line and it's 30 degrees outside on the back of a pickup truck. Let's test your makeup skills here.
It will.
Let's test your camera skills. And that's where the professionalism comes in my opinion, in this industry. So there's a part of like, oh, that looks fun, I want to do it. Or there's like, I want to make this a career. So I want to keep making myself better every day. I want to keep trying to get on better. Even though I hit that bar, I want to go to the next show. I want to go to the next environment. Can I do it here? Can I do it there? And how do I practice that? How do I refine it? You know, and hearing that in your story is inspiring, to be honest.
Thank you.
To listen to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I just have to ask, because you're fighting all these battles, and then you're expected to show up and be professional, and not necessarily wear your battles, step into your thing that you've been. Where does that come from? What does that look like? How do you describe that?
I describe it as it's a God-given talent to do that. Because, and I also call it ignoring my own reality. Although I can't change the situation that I was in, I had to ignore it to do what I wanted to do, which was build my career. Yes, it's here.
Sure.
But to ignore that takes determination to not worry. I couldn't worry about something that I could not change. I had to do my part and make sure I was healthy, go to the doctor, pray, meditate, those things. But I had a job to do. And so I focused on one thing at a time and ignored what I was dealing with.
Wow.
It's that, it was funny because I wanted to ask the same question. What was your mental game on trying to conquer both those worlds at the same time? And, sometimes, I know I hear you say that you ignored it, but I think you actually conquered it.
Thank you.
I think it was one of those things where you were like, you know what? You're not going to define me, dialysis. You're not going to define me in this way. I am going to define myself. And so I'm going to do what I have to do so that you don't define me. So I'm not siding with my health issues. This is my passion. This is the gift that God's given me to do this on sets and to do this in this industry, the passion he's given me. And I'm going to lean into that with all that I have. And I love that that was your mentality in approaching the gifts and talents that you were given and were able to press through and not become a victim of or make that become your identity to lose out, for the world losing out on all your talent.
And don't get me wrong, it's difficult. It was very difficult. As I sit here and people see me, I just want to be honest. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing that I've dealt with in my entire life. Being on set in makeup, that was my release. That was my escape. That was my something to do.
Yeah.
Because I was dealing with a nurse. You get assigned a nurse and to talk to my nurse daily about the same thing, about what I'm eating, what am I drinking, and then but deciding to exercise, deciding to eat right, deciding to trust those people with my care and take care of my business. I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I had to deal with that to be the woman that I am, to go forward and say, if I can sit here in this chair and I did 10 hours of dialysis 7 days a week for 9 years and put on lipstick on set, on the talent, you can face anything in your life. Medical, family, whatever it is, it can be done. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
It's not one.
What do you think that it taught you by pressing through and persevering through the two things? What do you think is one of the top things it taught you?
I call it the rear view mirror effect. I see what's ahead of me, and sometimes it might be gray in the storms. But when I look in the rear view mirror, I can look back on where I've been brought from. And so just remembering the obstacles that I've conquered, it's full speed ahead. Not in Houston. They'll get you.
I hear that.
But it's just full speed ahead.
Yeah.
Remembering what you've already done and how you got over, it's everything else is just a catalyst to use.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. So good, right?
That's an amazing story. I mean, gosh. So, you know, and here you are today. I mean, when you look back at the journey, when you look back at, you know, everything you've walked out, everything you've learned, for people watching and heard this, you know, was it worth it?
Every tear, every fit, every time I didn't answer the phone from my nurse, most definitely.
Yeah.
I would do it all over again. I don't want to.
Well, yeah. Right.
If I had, because the journey still continues.
Yes.
The transplant, it's not a cure.
Yeah.
It's a Band-Aid. But we want to keep the Band-Aid intact.
Yeah.
And so I work every day to keep my Band-Aid on.
Yeah.
I ride a bike.
Yeah.
I eat very well, about 60% raw.
Wow.
Whatever works for you. So, but it's the journey that I'll live my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
My goodness.
Okay, what's next, makeup land? And you have to give us what's next in one makeup tip. And then we're going to tell people how they can get, and then then we're going to tell people how they can get in touch with you. Yes.
Okay. What's next? Right now, I'm working with the Houston Grand Opera.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
And for the spring season, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's different from set life.
Yes.
We're still working in the same avenue because people are performing. But it's amazing to be behind the scenes and to see the show
Yeah.
and how people react to it.
Oh, that's great.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
God.
Okay.
I know.
Makeup tip.
Makeup tip?
Yeah. I mean, makeup tip.
You know, it's going to be boring, but it's going to be effective.
I like it.
Great skin.
Yeah. I hear that a lot.
I don't wear a lot of makeup. I'm sensitive. Go figure. But I'm sensitive to a lot of the ingredients and a lot of makeup out. So skincare. A great wash. A great moisturizer. As you were saying earlier, a great moisturizer. We live in Houston.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hot and it's humid.
Yes.
Sunscreen.
Yeah. I hear that.
Everyone needs sunscreen. So, yeah.
Good tip.
Very good tips.
Thank
and the free tip before that was put your earrings on and your makeup and your lipstick on.
Yes.
And you feel better and you look better during the day.
Yeah.
This is from Grandma.
Yeah.
Most
just
definitely.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
We love her.
Let me get my ears pierced.
Get on that, Kelly.
Yes.
So how does anybody watching get a hold of you? How can they find you? Platforms, emails, etc.
Everyone can go to my Instagram. I have a bio site. Everything is listed. My email, my professional email, my website, my portfolio, some stories I've written. I'm getting into writing stories now. So I've written for Grown Up Story Time, which is great. And so all the things, it's there on my Instagram.
And what is your Instagram?
Matilda Marie Makeup.
Matilda Marie Makeup and Instagram. Go there, and then you can just, it sounds like, find everything else from that one link.
Yes.
And they DM you there.
They
if
can
want.
DM me. Yes,
Okay.
I accept DMs.
Yep. And DM her, reach out to her, show her some love, go follow her.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sitting with us
course.
today.
Thank you for
being
having
an
me.
overcomer
Thank you.
and your persistence and the greatness that you offer to the industry in your makeup and all of that.
My pleasure.
Beautiful. Well, we're out of time, but I am Kelly Leger.
And I'm Amber Buto.
And this has been Set Life. We'll see you next time.